Hey everyone, have you ever noticed how some people stay almost invisible online? No selfies, no life updates, yet they seem calm, confident, and grounded in a world chasing attention. The question behind online silence. In a world where sharing feels almost automatic, some people choose to stay quiet online. They don't post their faces, their daily routines, or their personal highlights. For years, many assumed that silence meant insecurity or loneliness, but modern psychology suggests something deeper. Sometimes the people who share the least are the ones who understand themselves the most. This conversation isn't about judging people who love social media. Instead, it's about exploring the mindset behind choosing privacy in a culture built around visibility. Privacy versus popularity, intentional living. For some individuals, privacy isn't avoidance, it's intention. Instead of asking, how will this look to others, they ask, does this moment feel meaningful to me? That shift moves attention away from performance and toward presence. Social media often rewards visibility and constant updates, but people who stay private may not feel the need to turn every experience into content. They allow moments to exist without validation from an audience. Self-awareness and internal validation. One strong psychological trait among people who rarely post is internal validation. Their sense of worth doesn't rely heavily on reactions, likes, or comments. That doesn't mean they never doubt themselves. It simply means their confidence is less tied to external approval. They focus more on how they experience life internally rather than how it appears externally. And that mindset naturally reduces the urge to constantly broadcast personal moments. Not just introverts, breaking a common myth. A big misconception is that only introverts avoid posting photos. In reality, many socially confident people also maintain a low digital profile. They enjoy conversations, friendships, and real-world interaction. They just don't feel the need to document everything publicly. This shows that online silence isn't always about personality type. Sometimes it's simply about personal values and boundaries. Emotional intelligence and healthy boundaries. Another psychological factor is emotional awareness. Sharing online invites opinions, comparisons, and sometimes criticism. People who understand how that external noise affects their mood often create boundaries around what they share. They realize that protecting mental space can be more valuable than gaining attention. Silence becomes a form of emotional discipline, not withdrawal.
Deep thinkers versus online performers. Some individuals process life internally rather than externally. Instead of instantly turning a moment into content, they sit with it, reflect on it, and allow it to shape them quietly. From the outside, it may look like absence, but internally, there's often deep reflection happening. This doesn't mean frequent posters lack depth, it simply highlights different ways of experiencing meaning. The digital illusion and social comparison. Social media can easily turn life into a silent competition. Who looks happier? Who seems more successful? Even when we know these comparisons are curated, our brains still respond emotionally. Some people step back from posting because they recognize this pattern. They choose to observe rather than compete, to experience rather than perform. And interestingly, that decision often creates a sense of calm others can feel but not always explain. Quiet confidence, a different kind of strength. In many Western cultures, confidence is often associated with visibility, being loud, expressive, and constantly present online. But real confidence can also look quiet. It can look like someone who doesn't need constant acknowledgement to feel secure. When self-esteem isn't tied to notifications, emotional stability becomes stronger and more consistent. Quiet confidence doesn't demand attention, it simply exists. A balanced perspective. Not every silence is strength. It's also important to stay balanced. Not everyone who avoids posting does so from a place of confidence. Some people stay silent because of anxiety, fear of judgment, or past negative experiences. Human behavior is complex, and there isn't one single explanation. Understanding this prevents us from turning privacy into a stereotype.
Awareness, the real psychological insight. The deeper message here is awareness. When you understand why you share or why you don't, social media becomes a conscious choice rather than an automatic habit. The quiet person online might not be disconnected. They may simply be selective. They may value meaning over metrics, presence over perception. Living without an invisible audience. Many people who reduce posting describe feeling mentally lighter, less pressure to appear perfect, less comparison, more freedom to exist without imagining an invisible audience watching every moment. That freedom allows them to focus on relationships, hobbies, growth, or simply living life without turning everything into content. Conclusion: a new way to see online silence. So the next time you notice someone who rarely posts photos, maybe don't assume they're insecure or distant. Maybe they're simply choosing authenticity over visibility. Sometimes the strongest identity grows quietly, away from algorithms, away from performance, and closer to real experience. If this perspective made you think differently, subscribe and stay with this community, because here we don't just watch human behavior, we understand it, question it, and grow stronger together.